This is how it was. What it did, what it meant, how it felt. It can feel that way again, but in a different light, a different world, a new day. So much has happened.
Breaking news from the NBA, the league has been suspended.
A global pandemic, an economic collapse, an uprising in protest of injustice.
We want justice. Yeah! I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
I want to be that voice for people like George Floyd.
There is no going back from here. So we won't be returning to normal. We will move forward and stake a claim to the future. Sports were gone, but never far from our thoughts, never from our hearts.
Put ourselves in the history book.
So tonight, we celebrate their return and feel the presence and the power of sports once more. Welcome back to Major League Soccer.
And welcome to the Heineken pre-game showcase. Now, where were we before we were so very rudely interrupted? Well, the answer to that is that we were 2 games into what was meant to be a celebratory season, the 25th Silver Jubilee campaign of Major League Soccer. And then, well, we know the rest. The world was turned on its head. Everything has changed almost beyond recognition. So many people have been through so many hardships, and yet we've clung to the hope that live professional sports would return to our screens and to our hearts. And now, happily, we are at that stage.
Young Portuguese. Danny. Who is by far the most decorated of the Orlando players on display tonight. 4 Premier League titles and a Champions League with Manchester United. He began full team training 1 day short of a month ago, June the 9th. It only pitched up here the requisite 1 week ago. Is Pellegrini, and in towards the near post for a chance that... Fought by Janssen. Pereira. Well played. Chris Mueller with a chance. And it came back at pace off the goalkeeper to Dom Dwyer, who couldn't do anything with it.
Just a good interchanging run from Chris Mueller here, coming off the right side, finishing his run. Pereira finds him, but Robles.
Very different surroundings for a player who's performed in most of the great stadiums, not just of Europe, but right around the world. 112 caps for Portugal for Nani. Pellegrini is central right now. Needis with a little bit of time. Deflection on that, and initially spilt by with a modicum of disappointment.
Yeah, I think Dom Dwyer's in an in-between. I asked the question, do they really threaten you going the other way? And I'd say the answer right now in 2.5 games is not really.
Yeah. Well, we're at the midway point of the first fixture of MLS is back. It's goalless, not for the want of trying. Orlando generally have carried the greater threat. We'll hope to support by either team, although Pizarro, the expensive new playmaker for Inter Miami, was asking for his shin pads at half-time as if ready to join the fray. It is Orlando in the darker colours.
Now the next part of it is the biggest question, and when do subs happen? You know, for the viewers at home, if you haven't been watching around the world, each coach has 3 opportunities to make 5 subs. So if you're going to use all 5, and 2 of those you need to make a double switch. How does that play a factor into this game? How quickly does Pizarro come into this one? I wouldn't be shocked if a ton of goals in this tournament happened in the second half.
Pellegrini and Agudelo. And against the pattern of the first half, early in the second, it is Juan Agudelo turns in the first goal of the MLS is Back tournament, and the newcomers lead the older stages.
Well, for the first 45 minutes, it was primarily all Orlando City, but now Miami comes out on the front foot. Good little touch from Victor Ulloa, and that is the first time in this game we've seen one of either Will Trapp or Victor Ulloa make a run forward. That then opens up the space for Pellegrini, Morgan, and ultimately for Juan Agudelo to make up for that missed chance in the first half. Diego Alonso should be extremely pleased with that one. Great start to the second half from Inter Miami.
And only the second goal scored by the new team. Pizarro got the first at DC just before the break, the enforced break, and now Juan Agudelo, who has that. On we go. Trying to feed in Akindele. Nani lining one up, deflected. This has been a fitful contribution so far.
But we haven't seen the typical Nani that we've seen early on with his time with Orlando City, right? There's been very few touches in dangerous spots. He had that one opportunity where he could have played Dom Dwyer on the back post. They were mixed up between their... I'm surprised that security gate didn't take the air out of your tires.
As you would expect, he lives in a beautiful spot. Here's Nani. And it's into a position of real danger, and that's 1-1, and Chris Mueller. Some of the language that followed was not entirely appropriate, but Orlando are level here.
But the finish was. And I don't think it comes off the coincidence that Nani found a little bit more confidence coming into this game. Over the last 5 to 6 minutes, he's been more dynamic. He's found himself in 1v1 situations. I love this run from Akindele off the back shoulder. The defender gets near post, drags him away. And that is your job as the opposite side winger. You've got to finish your run. You've got to provide that second option. Chris Mueller doing exactly that in Orlando City, right back into this one.
Change of pace from Nani. And in Mueller, a player who really wanted it at the back post and was prepared to go in where it might have hurt, with Ben Sweat making the challenge. 1-1, and that's probably a fairer reflection of Orlando's overall contribution to this game. Native of Greenock, 30 miles west of Glasgow. Trying to beat a Peruvian goalkeeper. It is Morgan, and Galese was concerned but not panicking.
That's the third time tonight, though, we've seen Morgan whip in a really good ball with that left foot.
Moments away from a hydration break. Will become the next stoppage in play. This is Chris Mueller. Early ball in, which was an inviting one for Akindele.
This is an absolute great ball from Chris Mueller, because you've got to whip it with pace right in front of Robles so he can't come off. And Tesho Akindele should have done better with this. About 6 yards out. That is a dream of a ball in from Chris Mueller.
Away from Sweat. It's Nani. Heading has never been the greatest strength of the Portuguese, and
someone's got to make that run right in front of the goalkeeper on this near post. With zonal marking, they're stationary, you've got momentum, you get that run right in front of the near post, any kind of flick, extremely dangerous. Good ball in.
Clearance unsophisticated but effective.
Chapman thought this was in the back of the net. I think Lee wins the X Factor for Inter Miami, John. I just do.
Sideline. Nani. Jalmatinho. And Nani. The man on the spot, the man in the right place. And it may well be, as Oscar Pereira leads the celebrations, that he is about to enjoy and sample victory for the first time as the head coach of Orlando, whilst Inter Miami for the second game running have surrendered a lead.
And right before Nani was going to come out of this game, the next stoppage, the next touch out of bounds, Nani was coming off. Just a good ball in here. Nicolas Figal was not watching where this ball was. It ends up hitting off the back of him and falls directly to Nani. And we said it in the second half. If Orlando City is going to somehow find a way to get back into this one and ultimately take 3 points, it's because Nani got involved in the game. The assist on Chris Mueller's goal, yes, it's a gift in extra time, but a goal is a goal, and Nani puts one away. What could be a huge 3 points.
Hoisted in hope. Figal. And that is that for the opening fixture of the MLS is Back tournament. And there's the match winner, Nani. The first edition of this brand